Well, on that day there was a paratrooper here on the left-hand corner.
Fergal McCann's father was killed on this street by British soldiers nearly 50 years ago.
So he was hit. He hopped 3 times on his right leg, and he got as far as here, and he fell down.
He and his family want answers and accountability.
Why is it so important for you to find out exactly what happened? Because it was such a long time ago.
Well, would you not like to find out who killed your father? No matter what the circumstances were. That's exactly what my children are doing.
And it's as simple as that.
Simple as that. He was murdered because he was shot in the back. He wasn't armed. You know, they're entitled to find out why and why it was done.
But that has been far from straightforward. Last week, 2 soldiers known publicly only under the initials A and C were acquitted of his murder because some of the key evidence was ruled inadmissible by the judge.
I think that was the hardest bit for me, was hearing that, because there was no trial. They were not put through a trial. They got off on a technicality because the British government made sure that these statements would always be inadmissible. We're getting obfuscation, blocking truth at every turn.
Joe McCann was 24 when he died. He was a prominent member of the official IRA, a left-wing paramilitary group separate to the provisional IRA.
Mrs. McCann walked with her eldest son.
As Fergal described his father's last moments, a local resident spotted us filming and pointed out a bullet he's found in his house wall.
Okay. So that's an actual bullet?
That's an actual bullet, yeah, it's the lead bullet. There was another one here.
Compared down, yeah.
He believes it's the same bullet someone was pointing to on television in footage recorded in 1972, straight after Joe McCann had been shot dead. You've not seen that before, Fergal?
No.
I don't think anyone has.
Oh. It's just incredible. Sorry, you know, I'm kind of in shock, really, to be honest, because that's.
You're related to him, are you?
I'm his son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious?
That's a bullet. You know what I mean? That's the shop where the shopkeeper came out was talking about.
And I see the fellow going along up here. Just as he got to Fitzpatrick's door here, he seemed to stop. The soldiers were shooting at this stage. I'll never forget it.
There were children on the street, were there?
There were children on the street. They murdered that poor fellow.
She says, I counted 10 cartridges outside my door, and there was more cartridges across the street.
The McCann family are seeking a fresh inquest, and they believe documents found in the National Archives support their case. The previously unpublished British Army files record that undercover Special Branch officers were trailing Joe McCann and alerted paratroopers. The file continued.
Special Branch stopped McCann and said, "We are arresting you. We are Special Branch." McCann ran off and was challenged. He continued moving. He was shot at 8 times by parapatrol.
An updated British Army situation report, written the following morning, recorded,
McCann immediately ran off down Joy Street. A member of the patrol challenged him twice without effect and fired 2 shots over McCann's head. This still did not stop McCann. The same soldier fired 1 aimed shot, fired a further 4 aimed shots. The other 2 soldiers also fired 1 aimed shot each. McCann was hit in the rear.
It's disturbing and emotional, and it's to see it written in black and white in front of you, and you know, the fact that he was unarmed, he was running away, he had posed no threat to the soldiers.
Joe McCann had previously been involved in attacks against the British Army. He famously posed for this photograph. And he was involved in serious shootings, including reportedly the attempted murder of Unionist politician John Taylor, now Lord Clooney.
As far as the British soldiers were concerned, Joe McCann was a threat to them. There have been reports that your father was involved in the killing of up to 15 British soldiers.
We weren't very happy about that. It was absolutely disgraceful. There was no evidence for it at all, so I went off and got my own evidence, sat down, wrote every single name out of every single British soldier that was killed.
Do you understand, though, that there will be people who have very little sympathy for your position?
Well, you know, if you demonise anybody and can justify even a cohort, a population of people. I think not only my father, they done that to the cohort of people here in Ireland. You know, built them all up as these mad IRA murderers. And my father was engaged in a battle and was killed. I've said, well, you know, he gave as good as he got, and that's what happened. But he was unarmed and walking down the street and just simply trying to get away.
Cases involving the prosecution of former British soldiers have generated strength of feeling on all sides. Some veterans and their supporters say they are unfair and politicised.
The trials in Northern Ireland last week, where I was, marked a new low.
The UK government has said it will introduce new legislation with suggestions such prosecutions could be banned.
The MOD aren't interested in their veterans, really. They're interested in protecting themselves.
Yeah. The British government in this instance, because of what happened in my father's case, haven't proven themselves to be mature enough to face their own past and their own history. This isn't about getting those soldiers per se in a personal way and bringing them and going, yes, and we want justice for this. This is about showing the system up for what it done here.
In a statement, the Ministry of Defence told us the Secretary of State welcomed the court's decision on soldiers A and C, and that they funded their legal representation, adding the department will continue to do so for all those serving or veteran.